a new team is ready to take on the Cup Series next season here in the career mode, and that team is Trackhouse. Yes, it is happening. Trackhouse coming to the career mode now. As hello everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. We got some breaking news to start it off, fresh off the news of the Jordan Hamlin team coming to career mode. Well, now we have Justin Marks forming a new Cup team for next season called Trackhouse. They will run the 99 Camaro driven by Daniel Suarez. So I'm going to show you guys the paint scheme here on the screen, made by Renato. Once again, a huge shout out to him for making this for me. Pretty much the real scheme that they are using in real life. Very excited to get Trackhouse in the game for the career mode next season. I cannot wait for you guys to see how they do on track with Daniel Suarez in the car. Now, as we come through, though, here into the Bristol Motor Speedway weekend, this is a big weekend. This is a cutoff race in the Cup Series. So, of course, we need to be on top of our game here in the Cup Series, but we have the Truck Series and Xfinity Series races to get through first as well. In the Xfinity Series, the playoffs just got underway, and the Truck Series, now we've done a few playoff races, but of course we had Erik Jones in the truck here, where he started here in P5 for the UNOH 200 at Bristol Motor Speedway. He came through turns 1 and 2. Erik Jones has a pretty good buffer above the cut line, so if he can just finish in the top 10, he'll be fine here in Bristol as he dives down into turns 3 here, just trying to make up some ground, as obviously Bristol, a track that we always have success at here in the career mode. If I'm driving, or if we have, say, Erik Jones driving, he would actually get up the inside of Zane Smith a little bit later on, and he would try to make a pass on him after he had also gotten past Stuart Friesen there in the 52 truck. And sure enough, through turns 1 and 2, Jones would be able to pass Zane Smith, and then he would run down the 2 of Sheldon Creed a little bit later, and out of turns 2, he would be able to make a pass on Creed and move himself up into the top 3 here in Bristol. So things were looking pretty good right now at this point for Erik Jones. As he came through a little bit later again, he ran down Todd Gilliland and trying to make a move on him, but unfortunately he couldn't actually quite make the move work against Todd. He sent it into turns 3 there and just unfortunately could not quite make it happen. So he actually got stuck here behind Todd now as he came through onto the now approaching the final lap. As he came through turn 3, he did though get up the inside there of Todd Gilliland down the back straight where they were side by side for second place as they dive down into turns 3 and 4. But now, out of turns 4, Erik is going to be able to actually pass Gilliland, and he's going to come through to get a second place finish here at Bristol Motor Speedway, right behind Matt Crafton, who picked up the victory. So now it's looking very good here in the playoffs, as that was also an elimination race here in the Truck Series. So Erik Jones advances into the next round. There you see the 2 drivers that missed the next round, Stuart Friesen as well as Christian Eckes there. So unfortunate for them too, but now we come through into the Xfinity Series weekend, where Erik Jones actually is in our car once again. I guess we just kind of chose him to do the playoffs for us here in the Xfinity Series. I know in real life you cannot kind of declare for points in multiple series, but we just kind of have a workaround here in the game where Erik Jones is going to be our driver for the playoffs here in the Xfinity Series. So he didn't quite qualify as good. You see the paint scheme back to the red colors on the car with the black stripe going down the center. But Erik started about P10 here as he dives down through turns 1 and 2 behind the 7 of Justin Allgaier. And keep in mind, Justin Allgaier and Noah Gragson, 2 drivers for Junior Motorsports, actually both missed the playoffs. They're not in the playoffs at all here for this season, so they are just pretty much irrelevant at this point, just trying to get race wins. So Erik, though, he would get past the 7 of Allgaier as he went down towards turns 1. Michael Annett at this point was leading the way as he came through out of the corner there going down towards turns 3. Now as he was trying to run down the 22 there of Austin Cindric for Penske Racing now, as he will be coming to the Cup Series in real life in 2022, so you could very well see that come into play here in the career mode soon. So maybe look out for an announcement coming up at one point, maybe not this season but next season. But then Erik would get to the inside though of Chase Briscoe as this race went on, and he would make a move to pass Briscoe there. He kind of chopped his nose there on the exit of turns 4, but he would get past Briscoe now as he would try to put the fight to the back of the 22 of Austin Cindric here as he came through out of turns 2 here, just trying to make something happen, but he was really struggling to get past this group of cars right here. Brandon Jones, Noah Gragson were just in front. Then lap traffic started to play a role here as we were approaching the final moments of this race as he went down into turns 3 behind though Chase Briscoe. He has issues. He goes crashing through turns 3 and 4, collecting Harrison Burton as well as the 90 car. The caution comes out and the leader had actually just made it to the final lap. So this would end the race under caution, and it would be a P5 finish for Erik Jones there, as that was a big hit for Chase Briscoe. Fortunately for him, the race ending actually gives him still a top 15 finish now, as you're going to see the playoff grid on the screen after Bristol here in the Xfinity Series. We are 24 points above the cut line, so we're in good shape now as we come through into the Cup Series weekend for myself. Bristol, of course, like I said, always a track that I look forward to coming to. So we come through the starter qualifying lap. The goal was a 16.280 now as we come through out of turn 2. I was confident that we could maybe beat that goal or at least be really close to that goal. And here as we come through now through turns 3 and 4, I decided to run the bottom lane instead of the top. And we come through out of turn 4, having to get out of the throttle quite a bit there. And that hurt us a bit, but we did beat the goal with a 15.842. And we go P10 here for the Bass Pro Shops night race here at Bristol Motor Speedway for what will be the first elimination race of the playoffs, as we're ready to decide the 12 drivers that will advance. Jimmy Johnson down there in P20, not a great effort for him there, as you see Brendan Gaughan down there in P40, but so a few notables to watch out for, like Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney. Those guys were going to come through here though to see the playoff grid coming into this race. Is Kevin Harvick though. He will start on the pole position with Daniel Suarez, the notable up there in the 4th position here as the playoff grid comes up on your screen right now. So Truex, Kyle Busch, Hamlin, they're already in. Johnson 36 to the good, ourselves 17 points to the good, but you look at really Elliott through about William Byron, those can really change up here by the end of this race. So it's going to get very interesting between probably about 10th place through 14th place here. Now, we're going to send it over, though, to our pit reporter of Andrew Wisdom with actually a little bit of an announcement coming into that one.
With news of Alex Bowman taking over the 48 car next season, that leaves an empty spot at Hendrick Motorsports, and Kyle Larson is the one being highly rumored to fill the empty 88 car next season at HMS.
And just like that, you got another piece of silly season news. There it is, announced by Andrew, that Alex Bowman will replace Jimmy Johnson in the 48 next season as we're ready to go green in this elimination race here in Bristol Motor Speedway, as the green flag is up right in front of us there. As you see the 88 of Alex Bowman trying to make it into that round of 12. He's not in the greatest position on points, but he can definitely make it still as we come through out of turns 2. William Byron just behind us needs 9 points to tie and 10 points to get in now to the next round of the playoffs as we come through out of turns 4 side by side with Matt DiBenedetto. But now, who is going to fill that 88 car? Being right now rumored is Kyle Larson to potentially fill in that empty position at Hendrick Motorsports next season in our career mode. Not a guarantee, but we'll see what happens now as we come through out of turns 4. Kevin Harvick leads away as we go down this back straightaway into turn 3 now on lap 6. I was still down here in P15, but I was finally able to actually get the outside to kind of open up for myself, and as soon as I was able to get up here, we were just zooming around these guys. Alex Bowman had nothing for me. We got to the outside of the 37 of Ryan Preece as we came through down this back straightaway. We blew by him, then sure enough we get to the back of Matt DiBenedetto. Now on lap 8 we go up the inside though this time as we dive down into turns 3, and we're going to pass him, as well as now you see Clint Bowyer right here in the mix. Bowyer announced in real life he is retiring, and I actually made an announcement a few episodes ago at the Daytona regular season finale that Clint Bowyer would retire from the career mode, so I kind of foreshadowed that by accident here, and we'll see if I was right about the Chase Briscoe replacing him part, as well as come through out of turns 4 passing Ryan Blaney. So we're now up inside the top 10 as we take over the 9th position here through turns 1 and turns 2. So we will just continue to run down these guys in front of us now as we go down into turn 3, and now on lap 13 you see Harvick and Keselowski coming to us. We go to the outside there of the 4 of Kevin Harvick, and now we're going to make a pass on him to move up into the 8th position at this point now as we come through to 16 laps to go in stage 1. Then sure enough we get to the outside of Brad Keselowski as well, and we're going to blow right on by him. So the car was feeling really good at this point in the race. I was very happy with what we had going on. Guys, this car is feeling really good. I think we might have a chance at victory tonight. So there you heard a bit of a semi-confident radio transmission from myself there saying, you know what, I think we do have a good chance at victory tonight if this car at least continues to drive like it is. We come through now on lap 18 out of turns 4. We get to the outside of the Chip Ganassi Racing driver of Kurt Busch, who said in real life actually as well recently that he might very well be done racing in the Cup Series after next season. So maybe that could play a role here in the career mode as well. Now as we came through out of turns 4, we actually got stuck behind Justin Haley, unfortunately, as we dive down into turns 1. So I have to give that position back to Kurt Busch. And then with 10 laps to go here in stage 1, we fight back up the inside of the 1 car, and we're going to be able to pass him and take over P6 as we just continue to move forwards here throughout the field with 9 laps to go in stage 1. We then run down Kyle Busch as the leaders. They were really struggling as usual through lap traffic here as we get to the inside of Matt Kenseth, who unfortunately missed the playoffs here in his final season of his Cup Series career as we dive down through turns 4, passing Joey Gase, just trying to get into that top 5, and we just kind of kept the pressure on Kyle Busch here as we dive down into turn 3 there. And then we actually get a caution though for the first time here tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. A very easy call to make though. No reason coming to the pit lane right here, as actually we got Alex Bowman coming into the pit lane, and that is not because he's the reason for the caution. A few drivers decided they were going to come to the pit lane right here, which I was a little bit surprised. There you see Ty Dillon coming in as well, but like I said, a little bit surprised by that. I originally thought Bowman was the reason for the caution, but he was not. You see Hamlin, Keselowski also coming to the pit lane. Hamlin locked into the next round. He can do that, but Keselowski and Bowman, that does not make a whole lot of sense to give up a potential chance at stage points, but that could really shake things up now as we get ready to go green here, and a very quick dash to the end of stage 1. 3 laps remain here in the first stage. Daniel Suarez joins Martin Truex Jr. on the front row as we dive down through turns 1 and turns 2, but right behind me in my rear view mirror, you notice William Byron up in the mix. Byron comes into this race needing 9 points it was to tie, and like I said, 10 points to advance, so it's very interesting for him to see him up here in the top 10. He's really turning up the performance tonight and could very well find himself into the next round if he continues this performance throughout the whole night as he moves into P6 past Kurt Busch here as we go down the backstretch into turn 3 of the inside now of the 96 of Daniel Suarez. Suarez, of course, we just announced at the beginning of this episode going to the 99 car next season of Trackhouse. So, of course, that's going to leave a spot open for that 96 car next season in the career mode. Now, as we come through out of turn 2, side by side with Suarez here in the final lap in stage 1. Byron just behind us as we come through turns 3 and 4. Tyler Reddick is going to actually win stage 1, and Suarez is going to get us at the line there. And we hold on, though, to at least P5 here in stage 1. And we're doing everything we need so far to maintain a good points gap above that cut line to where we will not have to worry throughout the rest of this race now, as we will come to the pit lane though for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires. It looks like Kevin Harvick appears to be staying out at the end of stage 1. A very interesting strategy shakeup we're having here so far in this race. Not used to seeing this, but you see some drivers pitting, some drivers not, so it's going to get really interesting. This is probably actually going to move us to the back a little bit here, at least midfield. No, actually we only moved down to P14 actually here for the start of stage 2, so the pit crew did a really good job now as we get ready to go green with Kevin Harvick leading the way for the start of the second stage. Chase Elliott now finds himself up there in the 3rd position, so our pit crew did a great job. We were able to get ahead of Truex, Suarez, I think Kyle Busch, so we had a great pit stop, but now we got to deal with all of this traffic here in stage 2 as we dive down into turn 3. There was a little bit of contact there with the 14 of Clint Boyer now as we come through out of turn 4 side by side with Kyle Busch. Harvick and Elliott out in front, P1 and P2. They are, of course, on older tires, and a lot of drivers around this area are on older tires now as we exit turn 2. So if we can just get past this group of cars, we might have a good chance to maybe run down Chase Elliott as well as Kevin Harvick as the second stage goes on now as we come through out of turns 4, hitting lap 3 in stage 2. I decided to just go up to that 3rd lane, and we made it work because we come through now on the end of lap 3. We had now been able to make a pass on Clint Boyer here into turns 1. We're going to move up into the top 10, passing Buescher as well as we come through out of turns 2. So it was working really well here on the 3rd lane. Sure enough, we go all the way around Blaney as well as Ryan Preece, I think that was. Yes, it was. So we move up into the top 5 now on lap 5 in stage 2. So we are just hauling at this point now as Denny Hamlin actually was out front, but I run down Chase Elliott and we just blow right on by him with absolutely no problem at all. Keep in mind he is on older tires, but that strategy call for Elliott to stay out at the end of the stage really could hurt him. He's not in a safe position at all here in the point situation now as we pass Kevin Harvick as well. And finally, I'm going to get the live playoff points on the screen right now from the end of stage 1. So there you see it on the screen. Stanos, he's pretty much in a must-win situation. Bell's 35 points out, but Byron is only 4 points out at the end of the first stage. Elliott and Blaney about 9 points to the good. So it's going to get very interesting here. And now as we get close to the now halfway point, we are at the halfway point of stage 2. And of course, Elliott with that strategy call could gain some points here and really help improve him over that cut line, or he could fall outside of the top 10. So we come through running P2 after getting past all those cars on the old tires. So we were now trying to run down Denny Hamlin within the final 10 laps of the second stage, and we were doing that there. As you see, Blaney finds himself down in P24. Not a good night so far for Ryan Blaney, but he's still above that cut line, so if he can just hang on, he might still be able to make it into that round of 12 here. As we come through now on lap 21, we had run down Denny Hamlin, who was stuck behind Joey Gase now as we come through out of turns 4, crossing the line, and I decided, you know what, we got to get aggressive here, and we're going to try and go up to the 3rd lane again here, like we did earlier, getting past those slower cars, and now we will take the lead here in Bristol as we go down the back straightaway into turn 3, and I actually just punt the 51 of Joey Gase here because he was so slow. We make a little bit of contact now as we're 3 wide in the middle, down the front straightaway as we come through 6 laps ago here in the second stage now as we are in the danger zone with all these slow cars in the mix as we exit turns 2. A little bit more contact now with Gase's Hamlin. He gets up the inside as I dive down into turn 3, 3 wide with Buescher as well as Chastain, and now we're going to be able to stay ahead of Denny Hamlin here with now just 5 laps to go in the second stage. there is no doubt in my mind that Molasses could go quicker than that 51 car. There you heard the somewhat, I guess, comedic radio transmission from myself. There's a caution actually comes out with a few laps to go in stage 2 and ends the stage. We get the stage victory and a playoff point, which is going to be very crucial to us now, as it looks like up in front of us, it's the 41 of Cole Custer that brought out the caution there. Now, as we would, of course, come to the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires. Chase Elliott did not get any stage points, so that strategy call does not pay off, and I think it actually hurts him more than it helped him now as we get ready to go green for the 3rd and final stage here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Myself and Denny Hamlin on the front row, Alex Bowman up there in P4 now as we get ready to go green here for the start of the 3rd and final stage, which is now underway now here on lap 61, hoping that we can maybe pull off our 2nd career win here in our rookie season. Now is Alex Bowman. He gets up the inside of Denny Hamlin. Now Bowman, of course, trying to get every single point he can get here as we dive down into turn 3 on lap 61, coming to lap 62 now as we're going to get another live look here at the playoff leaderboard as we start this 3rd and final stage. There you see the grid right now. William Byron only finds himself 3 points out at the start of stage 3. Newman now 6 points out, but you see Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, they're starting to fade down the order. 6 points to the good they are. Bowman is now 3 points to the good. Logano and Kozlowski just below 15 points above that cut line. So it's going to get very interesting. If we continue to do what we're doing, we will of course be perfectly fine above that cut line. Nothing to worry about for us here as we dive down into turn 3. So we come through now on lap 68, starting to pull away from the cars behind us of Hamlin, who runs in P2. Now as a caution comes out just before we hit lap 69. Nice. Now as we cross the line. But there you see once again everyone coming to the pit lane. Elliott now finds himself in the top 10, so he's in a good position now as we're going to come to the pit lane here. I didn't know if I should take 2 or 4 tires on this one, but I decided to take 2 right side tires. I felt like that would probably be the right call because we didn't do many laps here in this run. But one thing to keep in mind here, the caution is going to be for Ryan Blaney here now, so that is going to be the end of his season. The playoffs are over for Ryan Blaney now as he brought out the caution. He will be sent at the back of the field, a DNF. Ryan Blaney's playoffs, he came into the 3rd stage above the cut line, and that will be the end of his season and the end of his playoff run now, as we got some playoff implications here in the 3rd and final stage now as we're back underway on lap 72. 54 laps remain here. Denny Hamlin, he's going to sneak up my inside as we come through out of turn 2. He completely catches me off guard, and now he's going to go right on by as we dive down into turn 3. Behind us we got Bowman and Reddick side by side, but of course now with that DNF from Blaney, it makes it so much easier for a driver like Alex Bowman to get into the next round, as well as even Chase Elliott here as we come through turns 1 and 2, sorry, now as we go down this back straightaway. So now Hamlin leads the way as he just completely caught me off guard. There's no other reason to it now, but he was actually a lot faster than I was expecting. I was struggling to actually pass him. We come through now with 43 laps to go, and we're just kind of scrapping it out here. Me and him had driven away from 3rd place on back, so it was just going to come down between myself and Hamlin at this point. And of course, the lap traffic would become a bit of an issue. We run down now Quinn Half here with 39 laps to go, and of course he gets in my way, so we have to give up the spot there to Hamlin and fade in behind him. But of course, we just continue to work our way through the traffic together. But of course, I want to be able to pass Hamlin as quickly as I can because we were now closing in towards 25 laps to go. So we dive down into turn 3, and we get up the inside of Denny here through the center of the corner. And now we are going to take the lead from Hamlin as we exit turns 4, passing Kenseth as well. But you see McDowell, he's in my way. Everybody's in my way as we come through turns 1 and 2, but fortunately we would be able to get a little bit ahead of Hamlin there as the 37 goes sideways. I actually moved him there as we come through out of turns 2. I drive down onto the apron, get sideways. Hamlin, he goes back to the lead here as we dive down into turn 3, and he gets very smart and drops down to the bottom, and then the 16 actually sends it up my inside, so I could not stay on the bottom. But now we do get to the inside again here, up the inside now of Ross Chastain. 29 laps to go here in Bristol as we're right on the back of our Joe Gibbs Racing teammate of Denny Hamlin now as we go down the back straightaway side by side with him as we dive down into turns 3. And once again, Hamlin took the lead from us, but now we retake the lead back from him as we come through to cross the line with 28 laps to go. And we now finally would pull away from Hamlin just because he would get stuck in lap traffic. So we come through to 21 laps to go, now passing the 38 there. John Hunter Nemechek, but the caution comes out again here in Bristol, and it looks like it could potentially be for a playoff contender of Ryan Newman now, as he is coming to the pit lane and nobody else is coming. So I do believe the caution is for Ryan Newman, but I can tell you this, it was not a DNF for Ryan Newman, and he maintained on the lead lap. So really, that's not actually going to be like the end of the season for him. He's still going to be in solid shape now as he came into this 3rd stage in a very tight position though with that cut line. Of course, we are all going to stay out here for the restart. Jimmy Johnson has now found himself inside the top 3 here. Has not really been a factor tonight, but now he is actually up here in the mix as we get ready to go green for what very well could be the final restart here at Bristol Motor Speedway for the night here, where we will determine the round of 12 now as we're back underway. Less than 20 laps to go here in Bristol Motor Speedway. Denny Hamlin, very smart, gets right down to the bottom immediately as we come through after clearing him as we exit turns 2 down the back straightaway. Now just trying to hold off Hamlin as we dive down into 3 and 4, and Johnson, of course, in that 3rd position in his final season, gets up the inside of Denny Hamlin, and now they're going to be side by side, and that allows me to pull away here as now Johnson nearly gets clear of Hamlin. He is going to clear Hamlin and move into the 2nd position, and now he's going to spend the rest of this race trying to run us down. We come through to 10 laps to go, and I could tell that we were actually going to be able to run down lap traffic before this race is over. That could either hurt us tremendously or help us a lot now as we came through now on lap 119, approaching 6 laps to go. Johnson slowly closing that gap there, but I can see Reagan and Chastain side by side in front of me. Not what I like to see now as the leader as we come through out of turns 2. Where am I going to go? I don't even know at this point now, as I'm actually just going to give Chastain the bumper here as we come through turns 3. We're going to go 3 wide in the middle as we approach 5 laps to go as we exit turns 4. A lot of contact there with Ross Chastain as we dive down into turns 1, and then I actually drive him up the track. I door checked him on purpose there as we come through out of turns 2. So now Johnson has gotten a lot closer as we come through on lap 122, trying to get through the traffic up the inside of Kenseth, but Johnson now right to our back bumper as we come through out of turns 4 on the back of McDowell. We go wide, we hit the outside wall. Jimmy Johnson comes through to take the lead here as we dive down into turns 1. We're side by side for the lead. We battled Johnson for the win at Watkins Glen, and here we are in a scrap in the late moments of Bristol for the win again with Johnson. Last time Johnson came out on top to put himself in the playoffs, but this time it looks like we're going to come out on top 2 laps ago, and we get back ahead of Jimmy Johnson as we dive down into turns 1. Johnson, though, immediately jumps up to the top lane on the outside of Michael McDowell as he tries to run us down with a lap and a half to go as we dive down into turn 3. There's Eric Jones on the inside as we come through out of turns 4. Still don't know where he's going next season, but we cross the line to start the final lap here in Bristol Motor Speedway, and we've held off the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. There's we clipped the wall, but it does not matter. We stay in it anyways as we go down the back straightaway into turns 3 for the final time here on the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway. We will exit the corner sideways on the exit of the corner, nearly crashing into the inside wall, but we win in Bristol. What an intense final few laps that was here in Bristol. I thought Johnson was actually going to get us for a moment there as he was able to get past us for the lead, but the lap traffic really helped us at the end, and then we came out of turns 4 on the final lap and just about put it in the inside wall and completely ended our day before, like a few feet before the line, so that really would have sucked. But win number 2 of our Cup Series career comes here at Bristol, a track that we always expect to come out and run well and potentially win. We've had a few bad races here, and I was worried that we were going to have one of those bad races here today, but fortunately it all worked out and we came out with the victory here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So very happy to get that win for you guys here. As you see the finishing order, Johnson 2nd, William Byron in 4th. He might have made it into the next round. There's Elliott down in P19, not the finish he was looking for, and that could play a role here in determining if he makes it into the next round. Blaney 39th at DNF. He is for sure out now. As we're going to see the playoff grid, Elliott misses the round of 12. He had a tie with Alex Bowman, his Hendrick Motorsports teammate, and unfortunately Elliott loses out on the tiebreaker. So Elliott, Blaney, Bell, and Stenhouse all missed the round of 12 there as Johnson makes it in. We, of course, make it in with the win. Ryan Newman even made it in barely, so surprised to see that. I think Newman will be a very early exit, though, in the next round, as we're going to do a post-race interview with Jay Cook.
Gary, you've made it to the round of 12 after winning tonight in Bristol. What's the strategy in the next round?
Win, hopefully. I mean, the next round's going to be a wild one. We got, Talladega and the Charlotte Roval, so it'll be tough. But I'm confident that we can maybe do well there. Las Vegas is going to be a tough one in Talladega, so I really don't even know what to expect, to be honest with you. I mean, the playoff points we got tonight really helped. I'm glad to get another win for the team. We got, 2 wins now in our rookie season, our first season together, so hopefully we can build up the momentum going into the final races here of the playoffs, and hopefully we can maybe make it to the Final Four. That'd be really cool, but we got to focus on this next round first. So yeah, we'll see what we can do there at Las Vegas in the next one. Alright, so if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do. Now, as we're going to check the playoff grid for all 3 series one more time here before we end this episode here of the career mode. But there you see all the congratulation messages from drivers like Alex Bowman, William Byron, and whatnot. So glad, though, that I could bring home victory number 2 here of the Cup Series in our rookie season. It was tough to get it. Jimmy Johnson almost stole it at the end, but we managed to make it happen. So thank you all for sticking around for this. And I do what I can to get you guys as many wins as I can, and we finally were able to get another one here as we got our first one earlier this season at the Brickyard 400. Now, as in real life, they will no longer be going to the oval version of Indianapolis, so that's very interesting. So we'll see. I cannot wait to actually run the road course version of Indianapolis now, as you can do that in the game now, by the way, in the Xfinity Series here in NASCAR Heat 5. But there you see the playoff grid for the Truck Series. Jones goes into the next round of the playoffs 5 points below the cut line. So it's going to get interesting for him on the Xfinity Series side. 24 points to the good. And then, of course, we're going to check the Cup Series one more time here before we end the episode now. As you see, we are 15 points above the cut line to start the next round of 12, so it's going to be very tough. If we have one bad race, we could be put in a bad situation there. So it's going to get interesting here. And the next round is Byron, Bowman, Kurt Busch, and Harvick are the 4 drivers on the outside looking in. So thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.